And now that we are back and safe in our modern time, or at least as safe as we can possibly be with Demichev still ruling the world and whatever else is going on in this place that we apparently blew the fuck out of, I think it's time to go ahead and take this cooked E99 bomb to Borisov and hopefully solve all this time fuckery, I think would be the best word for it. Thankfully, Borisov actually isn't too far away. Guess he knew where we would be coming in from.
Captain, you're alive, and the bomb is fully charged. There is no time to waste. We must get to the reactor immediately. Let's get up to the rail. It will take us to the Singularity tower. Take whatever you need from here, and we can get going.
And as per requested in the thread, I figured it would be good to show off the spike shot just a little bit more. Thankfully, we have plenty of weapon tech to upgrade this bitch. And those two upgrades will actually be fairly nice for us. We'll just go ahead and replace the Centurion. I think that got enough usage in the last video.
Let's go, Captain.
Alright, Borisov, I'm ready to go.
We're almost to the Singularity. Demichev believes the TMD you carry can be used to contain it. But he's wrong. How could Demichev possibly think something like that could be controlled? We must get there before Demichev can stop us.
Welcome to almost ground zero and the final section of Singularity, the Singularity Lab.
Because of the Singularity, this area is ground zero for the time being.
Yes, we'll start to see more and more as we progress this area. Very large, constant time fluctuations. They can be both very helpful or very negative. Also, thankfully, there will be an augmenter coming up in our future, and I'll be using sharpshooter.
Waves appear to be causing 1955 to seep into the present day. The disruptions look like they're affecting the flow of time. What was that? Be careful, Captain. That mutant looks unlike any we've seen. Time of this day.
I'm actually not going to listen to Borisov right now because we actually have seen that particular type of mutant. If you remember, I think back in the research facility, he was that one that would teleport around and was basically being a huge dickhole. Thankfully, we are a little bit better equipped now. I'm just going to go ahead and switch out sharpshooter into our slot and upgrade impulse one final time. Guys, I'm not sure if you know this, but they've been giving us a metric shit ton of E99 tech, and they really want you to be fully powered up for some inexplicable reason, honestly. But for those of you who don't remember the first fight we had with this particular mutant, he teleports a lot, he's very quick, and he takes more damage than pretty much any other Zex we've fought so far. The thing that makes this fight even more difficult than the last time is the fact that we are in a much more cramped arena. Also, we don't have as good a line of sight on him. And he's just as quick and annoying as ever. Also, you can see what appears to be some scientists caught in a time loop, as I assume something in the room had exploded in a experimental mishap, I would say.
We must move quickly. This way. Follow me.
Now, before we go ahead and follow Borisov, there's a number of little E99 goodies we can go ahead and pick up, and some more weapon tech. Really, the amount of ammo crates and med kit crates they leave behind, it really makes you think that something big is going to happen, but not to really spoil it, but nothing does for right now.
This is the audio log of Dr. Nikolai Demichev. I just saw Dr. Beresov's initial test of the TMD. A fascinating device that alters an object's time state. I never would have thought it possible, but it worked. A testament to Beresov's genius. This device could have some very interesting applications.
Also, I forgot there was a audio recording I missed at the beginning here. Also some E99 tech.
This is the audio log of Dr. Nikolai Demichev. We are very lucky to have Dr. Beresov working on Katorga 12. He's brilliant and headstrong. Both properties I admire. I can't wait to see what he accomplishes here.
Now, all the audio recordings we will be finding in the Singularity lab are going to be from either Borisov or Demichev, but they don't really offer a lot of new information and just kind of already go over things we already knew. So, it's kind of weird.
Watch yourself, Captain. The time shifts are having serious effects on plant life.
Also, they give you these little gauntlets of time manipulation puzzles, but they're fairly easy to solve.
We must be getting closer to the epicenter. Time itself is becoming unhinged. Time grows short. We'll have to split up. I'll stay here and prepare the equipment while you go to my lab. I've been working on an augmentation to the DMD that will allow you to create a time rift using the Singularity. Then you will need to travel back to 1955 and correct the timeline. Go now, Captain. Find my old lab. There is an enhancement for the DMD I was working on inside.
This is the audio log of Dr. Beresov. Katorga 12 is quite an incredible facility. I can't wait to get started on my research with E99. But even more interesting is that I get a chance to work with Dr. Demichev. His theories in quantum physics were groundbreaking. I'm sure together he and I will accomplish great things.
Also, coincidentally enough, all these audio recordings happen, or we can find them chronologically, which is helpful to the plot, but not very realistic, I would suppose, with how these audio recordings would probably be found in the first place. But I will say there are some very interesting visuals that this Singularity lab brings up, such as these static phantom images of, well, it looks like troops that were caught in the middle of some huge battle or possibly an explosion, but I wonder what they were fighting.
This is the audio log of Dr. Beresov. The TMD worked. It was able to change the time state of an item. I'm glad Dr. Demichev was there to see it. He was just as proud as I was, but then he asked if I would begin testing the TMD on humans. I, of course, said no. Hopefully, that's the end of it.
Oh yeah, Borisov, that will be the end of it. I'm very certain. But since we have another weapon locker and we did pick up another weapon tech, figured I'd make another little upgrade to the spike shot. And since we haven't had any combat for a while, guess what? We got some 1950s troopers waiting to be annihilated. Hooray! Yeah, the sharpshooter does make a massive difference with trying to fire with the spike shot. The spike shot is actually a very nice weapon with the proper modifications, but I don't know. There's still so many other easier choices, but you know, you people in the thread asked, and I'm more than happy to give you what you want. Also, rather oddly enough, some of these time shifts that occur will also slow us down for a good portion of time. It's kind of, well, it's odd to say the least. There's really no explanation, but it does lead to some rather cool and classy moments.
I get the feeling Dr. Demechev is not finished trying to get the TMD from me, so I've hidden it in the E99 cavern beneath our lab. The radiation from the mineral deposits should hide the energy signature of the device. Whatever happens, I cannot let Demechev get his hands on my work.
Yet again, just mostly stating things, well, that we learned many, many moons ago. Maybe in case you didn't listen to those audio logs or notes from before, but at this point, it's a lot of just really obvious information, but at least there's some nice visuals.
Find the TMD station and return to the Singularity reactor as quickly as possible. I'm there now. Wait until you see it, Renko. Even after all these years, it's still alive with energy.
Yes, that gaping hell maw is certainly alive, but it's not always a good thing for a monster to be alive. And that's probably the only time I will ever be successful blowing up a revert and other enemies, so kudos to me. But with all the E99 tech and everything else they give you, well, they don't really give you any reason to go balls out here. But I think we're expected.
It works! The time manipulation device works! We did it!
Congratulations, Dr. Borisov. Incredible. I never would have thought it possible.
Thank you, Dr. Demechev. Hopefully the TMD
is to help the world.
How ironic that indeed the TMD is becoming a very crucial part of saving the world as Rinko knows it.
This is the audio log of Dr. Belisov. That does it. I found out today that Demechev plans on storming into my lab and taking the TMD by force. I've warned all of my colleagues to not comply with his demands. I can't even begin to imagine what twisted experiments he'd use the TMD for.
Well, as we all know how that turned out, but it's time for the final TMD upgrade. And what will it be? Well, we'll find out right now. The TMD amplifier, the end-all be-all upgrade for our TMD, makes every one of our powers free to cast, and also makes Impulse probably the most deadly weapon in the game. Also, in this little secret vent back here is a another rather odd homage for those who might have watched Lost. You may recognize what the hell this thing is. And for those who haven't watched Lost, well, good for you, because that show is really dumb. But let's go ahead and head back on our way and see if we can't get a little bit of use out of our new TMD amplifier. Just a hint, we normally can't do the elite Spetsnaz, especially for free. The one thing you do have to keep in mind is that you are not invincible. You can still take plenty of damage, and they are going to start throwing a lot of troops at us. The range and cone on the Uber Impulse is a bit hard to judge sometimes, and you will sometimes accidentally blow yourself up in the face, but that's why you carry plenty of medkits, right? And that's cute. But I'm not really worried about face sticks anymore. Well, that many face sticks, I guess I could be worried about. But that's only if they can get to me. And guess what? Fuck you, face sticks. Now, reverts can still be a problem for taking them out with Impulse, because unless you're point blank, Impulse is still not a one-shot kill for them. And they still can have range on you with their vomit attack, so still doesn't hurt to keep a ranged weapon handy. And the spike shot still does an amazing job of taking them out. And it looks like our 1950s buddies have awoken from their little slumber. Sadly, they've awakened into a hailstorm of bullets and an American nightmare known as Rinko.
Hold on, Captain. Let me see if I can open the door for you.
We are now definitely at ground zero. You know, seeing these little slow-mo bullet time section, it really does make me wish that there was a bullet time TMD effect, but oh well. Powers we were given were pretty fun. Also, even with sharpshooter, a full-on barrage of autocannon bullets is not the most accurate thing from long range. Thankfully, picking up a rocket and chucking it back is actually still pretty effective and accurate as all hell. So still, they're really just throwing the ammunition and E99 tech at us. At this point, it's pretty easy to just max out on pretty much everything, even though it's really not needed. But I can still hear one guy yelling, so let's see if we can't find him and make him shut the hell up. Well, that is a good rhetorical question, writing on the wall, but this doesn't seem very natural, so let's see if we can't make sure to change back time. Obviously, what better way to fix time than to blow up as many people's limbs as possible. Now there was one very tricky Spetsman in this room that you need to make sure and get this fucker up here. He can be incredibly annoying and if you're in a rush, rather hard to spot. And sadly I would like to use Spike Shot a bit more, but as you can tell the ammunition isn't coming hot and heavy as it should. I could spend some E99 tech to buy some more ammunition, but it seems kind of frivolous. We don't really have that much to spare, you know. Let me see if I can help these guys out. Yes, the TMD is completely broken at this point in the game. But it's a good way to have some fun. But we have almost reached our destination. One last useless health pack. And as we round, I think, this corner, well, that is the end of the game. Tune in next time for the end.